What's up, you guys? It's Steve here, and we have got a lot unfolding today to get you caught up on. This is your breaking news and stimulus update. Now, first up, you guys, we've got about 24 hours to avoid another government shutdown, and Congress is working away on this. As take a look, you guys, senators, they scrambled to avert a government shutdown on Friday. And as you know, before they had done a stopgap funding bill, it's going to be ending tomorrow. And right now they're trying to get another one set in place to kick the can down the road until March 11th. And we're going to be seeing what's unfolding with that. I'm going to be sharing with you the latest that we're hearing that senators are working away on to make sure that we don't have a government shutdown. Now, in addition to that, today, President Joe Biden came out and he announced $1 billion in spending that's going to be going towards the Great Lakes. And this is going to be coming from the bipartisan infrastructure bill. And we heard him say yesterday that in addition to that, there's going to be more stimulus phases and packages in the form of Build Back Better. And also, he's calling for an additional $30 billion to help combat the pandemic. So we're hearing more phases of stimulus are going to be coming, and we're going to be seeing if there's going to be more forms of direct payments to people. I'm going to share with you the video footage of what he had to say today. And in addition to that, we've got the breaking news update on everything unfolding with Ukraine and Russia. And the president is saying, it looks like war is going to be imminent. This is going to be happening. And we just received word that the United States 3 weeks ago had sent some requests to negotiate and have some form of peace between Russia. And today they have responded, and they are not going to cooperate with any of those requests. I'm going to share with you the video footage so you can see it for yourself. So a lot going on. We've got video footage to get you caught up on. Let's go ahead and dive right in so that way you know the latest happening right now. Now, before we dive in though, if you could do me a quick favor, just takes a second. If you appreciate the updates, if you could just smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm, helps out my channel. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Also, leave your comments, share this out. If this is your first time here and you want to stay up to date, totally free. I'll keep you up to speed. All you got to do is hit that subscribe button, turn on that notification bell. If you got any specific questions for me, I'm easy to get a hold of. All you got to do is hop onto Instagram, shoot me a DM at SteveRam3, and consider joining my second channel, Steve Ram Finance, to learn about growing wealth and personal finance. But with that being said, you guys, let's go ahead and dive right in, and let's start off with the latest on what's unfolding with Russia and Ukraine.
All right, we were just taking a listen to the Secretary of State there, Tony Blinken, speaking at the UN Security Council meeting, warning, of course, once again of an imminent attack from Moscow into Ukraine, saying, and I quote, "I am not here to start a war, but in fact to prevent one." Let's get into this and some of what we heard from the Secretary of State there. Still with me, NBC's Matt Bradley on the ground in Ukraine, and retired U.S. Army Major General Dana Petard. He is a former Joint Force Land Component commander in Iraq. I also want to bring in NBC's Chief Foreign Affairs Correspondent Andrea Mitchell and NBC's Courtney Cubie at the Pentagon Force. Andrea, I'm going to start with you on this one, and I just kind of want you to take us through your reaction there to what we heard from the Secretary of State.
Well, this is basically put up or shut up from the Secretary of State. That's a non-diplomatic way of saying he detoured on his way to Munich. This was an unannounced stop until just an hour before, that he was going to the UN Security Council to lay it on the line, basically, and to say, Sergei Lavrov, meet me in Europe next week, and that will pave the way for a meeting of the leaders, a summit meeting. But first, today, unequivocally declare that you are withdrawing troops. Show us that you're doing it, having said already that Russia is lying about all of its claims of withdrawal. And as we know, the White House saying last night that they, in fact, added 7,000 troops rather than withdrawing. So they want withdrawal of troops, of the tanks, the artillery, all of the massive deployment that has now surrounded Ukraine, and a commitment. Now, of course, he expects, and he said he expects, that Russia will again create disinformation. You have a conflict of completely different points of view, different claims of what the truth is, as well as the fact that just today Russia responded in writing to the 3-week-old proposal from the U.S. for diplomatic negotiations about arms control and transparency, and a very specific engagement on a lot of fronts, but no concession on whether NATO can make its own decisions or whether Ukraine can eventually make its own decisions. And so Russia flatly rejected all of those proposals in writing. So at the same time as Blinken is saying, let's go forward and prove that you're serious about diplomacy, Russia, in effect, today already shut that down. And it does seem as though the window is drawing closer and closer to being closed, especially with this dispute in Luhansk over whether or not Russian separatists fired on a kindergarten in their held area, or whether it was Ukrainian forces. And you've seen that that is the dispute that many of the allies in the West believe is the kind of false flag operation that would give Vladimir Putin the pretext to invade.
So there you have it, you guys, starting to sound more and more like war is going to be starting here very soon. Now, as more information rolls out on that, I will be sure to keep you up to date so you know what's unfolding. Now, here locally in the United States, we're hearing that Congress is working a way to avoid a government shutdown, as the stopgap funding bill that's currently in place is going to be ending tomorrow. Link in the description below to take a look at this. Senators scrambled to avert a government shutdown on Friday. Now, the article says that lawmakers weren't panicking yet, but Congress was scrambling today, Thursday, to strike a bipartisan deal to avert a government shutdown before funding runs out on Friday night. Now, Senate leaders said they expect to hold a vote later Thursday, today, on a stopgap funding measure called a continuing resolution, or a CR, which would allow lawmakers to leave Washington for the week-long President's Day recess. Now, about a dozen of those senators, they were eager to depart for the Munich Security Conference, which kicks off Friday amid escalating Russian aggression towards Ukraine. And senators have made clear that a disruptive shutdown at home would not look good ahead of what U.S. officials have called an imminent Russian invasion. Now, we heard it's a typical CR exercise. We'll have some amendments, and then we'll pass the CR, and the government won't be shut down. According to Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell, he told reporters at the Capitol. Now, last week, the House, they passed the funding bill that keeps the government's lights on through March 11th. But for senators to pass it by Thursday, they will need cooperation of every single member. As early as Thursday afternoon, there will still remain, though, today, a handful of outstanding issues. And that is that at least 4 Republicans, they are demanding votes on specific issues, including Senator Marco Rubio, for example, who wants a separate voice vote on the bill. Also backed by Senator Joe Manchin to bar the Department of Health and Human Services from funding the distribution of crack pipes. And the Biden administration officials, though, say a $30 million HHS program aimed at fighting the substance use and overdose epidemic doesn't pay for crack pipes. Now, also, we've heard that there's issues with the mask mandates. So we'll see, because we're hearing there's a lot of outstanding senators that are saying, no, we're not going to support this, and we will push for a government shutdown. So they've got to get this all worked out today and have it all ready by tomorrow, because if they don't, we could be looking at a government shutdown, and also a war is right around the corner as well. Now, in addition to that, let's talk about stimulus. As we heard President Joe Biden yesterday say that he wants to see an additional $30 billion going to combat the pandemic. We also have lawmakers calling for additional stimulus for businesses as well, small businesses, and America. Over 3 million people are saying we need more direct payments, more stimulus checks. We need money for those on SSI, SSDI, more monthly provisions, child tax credits. And right now, we don't have any of it. However, today, we heard President Joe Biden say that there's going to be $1 billion in spending that's going to be going to cleaning the Great Lakes, more stimulus provisions coming from the infrastructure bill. He also said that they're going to be passing more provisions. This is just the beginning, and Build Back Better. It will be agreed upon, modified, renamed, and passed through, and more phases will come. Now, let's take a look at what he just said today on $1 billion of funding for the Great Lakes.
Back in 1987, an independent commission identified 43 places called areas of concern along the Great Lakes. There are areas where pollution, as EPA director said, where pollution from industry, runoff from agriculture, poor wastewater treatment, put the Great Lakes and everyone who depends on them at risk. 26 of these areas are on the United States side of the border. 12 of them are in Canada, and 5 are shared between the United States and Canada. And our mutual nations made a commitment to clean them up, to be good partners, to protect these shared treasures. And for decades, there was a lot of talk, a lot of plans, but very little progress. It was slow. That changes today. Today, we're announcing an investment of $1 billion. $1 billion from the bipartisan infrastructure bill. It's going to allow the most significant restoration of the Great Lakes in the history of the Great Lakes. We're going to accelerate cleanup of sites across 6 states in the Great Lake Basin, from Duluth, Minnesota to Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Gary, Indiana, Buffalo, New York, and everywhere in between. We know these sites were dangerously polluted for decades. We're committed to clean them up. 3 decades ago, we made this commitment. And yes, we've gotten a couple of them done, like right here, like the one of my old hangouts as well. I went to Syracuse University, and I was a lifeguard on Lake Oswego, and I know the Oswego River up in New York. That was another one that's been taken care of. Now we're talking about cleaning up the Cayuga River behind the Cayuga Gorge Dam, and in the process, and it passes through Cleveland. I always mispronounce it, the Mawami River, right? Wami River in Toledo. I can say Toledo. Restoring the shoreline around the Detroit River in Michigan, the St. Louis River in Minnesota and Wisconsin, the Grand Calumet River in Indiana, and so much more. Dredging polluted sediment, restoring wetlands and habitats, making the water safer for swimming, fishing, drinking, providing habitats for wildlife and wildfowl. And the study found that every dollar we spend cleaning up the Great Lakes generates between $3 and $4 in economic benefit. That's a fact. And it's a really good investment. These are not only investments we're making the Great Lakes. Last month, we announced over $500 million to upgrade the Sulaks in Michigan, which connect Lake Superior and the Great Lakes. 7,000 vessels, and 90% of our country's iron ore moves through these locks every single year. That ore makes nearly all the high-strength steel that goes into U.S.-made cars and appliances. Replacing and modernizing the locks will not only create good jobs doing that, it's going to strengthen our supply chains to get goods moving faster and reduce cost. This is not the totality of what we're going to do, but it's an example of what I've said from day one. We're rebuilding America. We're going to invest in America and build a better America than we found.
So there you have it, you guys. And we heard him reiterate that this is not the total of everything they're going to be doing. This is just the beginning. There's more to come. But $1 billion going to cleaning up the Great Lakes. We're going to be seeing what other contributions they're going to do, what other stimulus money is going to be allocated, and what it's going to be allocated for. And we received word that there was $800 billion of leftover stimulus funds from previous stimulus packages just sitting there. It's already been sent out, but it hasn't been allocated for anything. Unused money. And just to give you an idea, that is enough for 2 additional stimulus checks, a 4th and a 5th of $1,400 to go out to everybody in the entire nation on a federal level. That's how much leftover funds we still have that could be used for whatever they feel necessary. Now, I know a lot of people are saying stimulus checks. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, but we're seeing already distributions for other items, such as cleaning the Great Lakes. But you guys, that is the latest, and as more information comes out, I'll be sure to keep you up to date here on the channel. And as always, thank you so much for joining me. If you made it this far and you haven't already, don't forget, take a quick second, smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm. Helps out my channel a ton. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Also, leave your comments, share this out. If this is your first time here and you want to stay up to date, totally free to do so. All you got to do is hit that subscribe button, turn on that notification bell. If you got any specific questions for me, shoot them to me in the DM on Instagram at SteveRam3, and consider joining my second channel, Steve Ram Finance, to learn about growing wealth and personal finance. But with that being said, you guys, thank you so much for joining me. I will catch you in the next one. Take care. God bless. This is Steve.